Try to figure this other stuff out. What's up, Goku? What's up? Getting biggest bear. I believe I did. How was your Sunday? Try to figure out how to finish setting up my virtual environment. I should have done much earlier, but what it is. I should have done it on Sunday, actually. Oh, yeah. Nice. Oh, it's a Valentine's Day? I mean, I just streamed like usual. Never really do anything special on Valentine's Day. Hmm. Uh, you got any plans for this week, though? Or is it just gonna be a pretty normal day to day? Normal. Fair enough. Oh, I need to take a bunch of stuff down today. Put it back. I'll deal with the stuff on like a weekend or something. Mm. My brain is like too dead to be trying to figure out all the different things they want me to do to get that fully set up right now. I mean, I say this, but we're probably about to jump into what should we call it? Jump into back into the Jenga thing. No, I don't want to run that because that takes way too long to load up, even though it's on an SSD. Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Dust. Trying to install the things I would need on the virtual environment on the site. I'll just for now. Because these will be working out of this for a bit, even with this one. Where is a class? You define scrap information. A subclass spider and define the initial request to be made. Optionally, follow links and pages and parse the downloaded page contents correctly. I guess I doubt these are really like over split between the two. Oh, oops. Wrong button. Reading both. Like what I'm assuming is the case. I have to probably run the like set the stuff up in the shell and then mess with the files. Allow me to make Oh, I did not mean to save that. Where did that get saved? Idiot.
Hippity hoppity, you are you is my property.
What's up, Zurich? Sorry, I had my window explorer blocking chat. Also now, your UV thievery. Desist. Sorry, not young. How's your Sunday though? It's good. Nice, nice. You got any plans for this week? Are you also just gonna have like a normal week, like? Find some attribute method. One second. My daughter. Identifies the spider. Must be a project that can't set, or that is you can't set the same name for different spiders. Start request. Must return an iterable of requests or write a generate which the spider will begin to call from. Secret requests will be generated successfully from. To look at like what's in the actual spider class. Method that will the response downloaded for each request. Oh, it's a self.parse, okay. Plans are just to pray that upcoming snow doesn't knock out power, otherwise no real plans. Yo, same. Yeah, we're supposed to get. Oh, also. I'd hear, like, we don't usually get more than like 6 inches, but I don't know how they have like the infrastructure here. Sometimes they'll just knock out power. Hopefully, also. We just have the snow and then all it good. It'll become the response downloaded for each request made parameters and that holds the page content and further helpful. Parse method usually parses the response, extracting wrapped data as also if I do URLs to follow. Projects? What? Is that where the spider is, or is that where other? Oh, I think it's at the. That's kind of cool. Didn't expect it to pop up that much stuff for one guy. Time. The spider name's cool. Send some requests to quotes.toscrape.com. And we can not put similar to. The files in the current directory. The two name files have been for the respective URL parse method. There's Java with the language. Yeah, with the they ended up proposing. But then Ian, remember getting adopted as a. The Hololive family tree continues to morph and adapt itself. Bro, the Hololive family tree is like so hard to untangle sometimes. I don't know how it is now. I remember when I was last like really like just paying attention to a lot of Hololive stuff. It was just the amount of who was married to who and who was the child of who, and it was funny. Made for interesting dynamics. Scrappy schedules the scrappy objects. And by countersing response for each one is instantiate response. It's the callback method associated with the request and base the parse method. Passing the response instead of implementing a start request method that generates crappy.request objects from URLs, you can just define a start URLs class with the list of This list will then be used by the default implementation of start request to create initial requests for your parse method. We call it to him. We haven't explicitly told Scrappy to default call for requests with an explicitly assigned comment. YouTube continues to be sentient. But like this time, do you know how nurse? Oh yeah, where she has like her sisters and I think her mom too, right? That pops in. Or I think they even have models for it. I've seen a couple of clips. Also ironic because I think it's like, at least from the clips I've seen, it seems like the sisters are more wild than she is, even though she's the hollow lifer. And post it. Debut as an indie VTuber. Yeah. Recommended a video about it to you. You know, they're just like, we can't let the lyric know how deep we are, how sentient we are. I gotta lull them into full. That's interesting though. There we go. I don't know why it didn't work with the first one. I guess it's because maybe I used the single quote instead of the. Like honestly, I mean like streaming's kind of interesting to get into, especially if you have like free time and you, I don't know, want to mess around with people. I don't know. For me, I just use it to like, oh, a somewhat functioning schedule for my day. Though with having picked up coding, it's kind of like to make sure I like stick to it. Because honestly, like I won't lie, there's been a couple times where I didn't want to do coding, and then I like fired up stream, and then I started just getting in the. I feel like it's kind of obvious on the days that I'm not like too mentally into it, because I'll talk a lot for like the first hour or so, and then about like at the hour and a half to 2 hour market, I kind of go back to getting locked up in the thing I'm learning, and then usually like at the last like 45 minutes, I'm easily kind of tapped out again. There's auto running. This like object called selected object wrap around extract text from. Colon text like only tags. Oh yeah, because it'll do like yeah. The thing is that the result of calling get all list is possible. It's more than when you know you just want the first result. In this case, you accessing an index on a selector list instance raise an index error exception. Constantly sidetracked, but yeah, yeah, those are also the other days where it's just like I'm here to I'm learning, but then I'm like I don't want to be learning. It's just especially this like last week. This last week was pretty bad. To be fair, it doesn't help that my insomnia's been acting up, so I've been going to sleep at like 4 in the morning. Which I mean, I get like full hours of sleep. Like I'll get at least like 6 to 7 hours of sleep, but it's like not good. When I wake up, my brain doesn't want to focus on anything. Six list of I want to use get directly on the head. No results. Does it not have? So far, all the songs have been. Oh, I don't listen to my playlist today. I'm gonna fire up a song radio. But yeah, it's been pretty bad. Well, it was really bad this last week because it was like raining, like heavily. Oh, the humidity gets really high. My brain just kind of just doesn't want to do anything at all whatsoever. And I'd been getting to the point where I was like cramming so much on the lessons that it's just like I was really getting tired of like studying the lessons because I wanted to just work on my stuff. Which I mean, technically we did finish that one side project, so thumbs up. But still debating. Like I kind of want to go back and like mess with that meal tracker program I made a little more, but uh, like right now I'm kind of focusing on skills that are I saw a lot of stuff for. I don't know. It's kind of I say it's kind of like annoying because I was like looking around, and I don't know if that's how the case for everything, but it's like I wish there was just a website where people are just like, hey, I need this done. It's like, okay, I got you. Which there kind of is, but they're not like for stuff. I'm like, yeah. Oh no, there's a website called like Data Annotations that I might look at again. That I know they have some coding stuff. When I was looking for side gigs to make some side money on in the past. Yeah, a lot of things I saw were just like know how to use Django, know how to use Django, know how to use Django, and I was like, all right, guess I'll just learn how to use Django. But then I saw like web scraping was also stuff that could be used. And I was like, oh, that'd be pretty interesting to get going. But yeah, I think like the next big project would be probably using Django, which is like the web stuff, and then I'd probably like roll that in with the Granblue calculator thing, kind of just make something for that, mess around with, and then go from there. Nothing. Random Yu-Gi-Oh note. New structured deck for Blue Eyes made it the third best deck in the current competitive scene. Like just like normal Blue Eyes White Dragon. Very method to correct user. Right. Where to find it useful to open the response page on your use browser developer tools to back the HTML with a selector. Oh, third party. I think something that's like equally you could argue on it being normal boys considering it involves all support throughout the years, but yeah. I just meant like the card. I don't know if they've made like any different like Blue Eyes White Dragon versions. I don't know, I'm so out of the loop for Yu-Gi-Oh! The only person I've ever watched in recent time that plays Yu-Gi-Oh's was the stint that, was streaming her Master Duel ranked grinds. And even then, half the times I'd look at it and be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'd see her play like one card and then like 6 times of the chaining animation and selecting. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I was just like, there are bear cards that are good. And I was told the only bear deck is a meme, and so then I had lost any interest in rediscovering Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know, it feels weird as someone who used to have like a really strong interest in like trading card games to like now I see them and I'm like, whatever. XPath. The fuck is a helicopter doing flying so low? That is not normal for this area. Very powerful and are the foundation of scrappy selectors. Effects, yes, selectors are converted to XPath under the hood. See that if you while perhaps not as popular as CSS selectors, XPath expressions offer more power. Besides navigating the structure, you can also look at content using able to select these. It contains the text next page. XPath. For the task of scraping, we encourage you to learn XPath even if you already know how to construct CSS selectors. Makes scraping much easier. Read more about it using X. Alright, so the thing that's like equally interesting and frustrating, especially when learning something like, well, the more advanced sides of things with like Django and And like now Scrappy is that you have so much extra shit you have to learn. Like I started with 2 tabs, right? One for the Scrappy tutorial and then one for just Django. And then now I have like 4 more tabs opened because of Scrappy. But it's just like, bruh, bruh, what the fuck? But yeah. It's nice because I like learning all these things, but it's like frustrating when you're trying to like get a basic handling on a skill to use to, work. But it is what it is. Part of the process. Mention a bit about an extraction spider by writing the code to extract quotes from the web page. HTML elements that look like world. Oh, I don't know. Scrapping might not be my forte though. Mm-hmm. Vectors, no Scrappy shell, a bit to find. Alright, the data we found. Wait. Yeah. They're right there. How's that? For some reason. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't like it when I use the single quotation marks. The selectors returned by the query above allows us to run further queries over their sub-elements. And the first selector to a variable. So get this directly on a particular quote. Correct. text, author, and text. Albert. Given that the tags are a list of strings, we can use the get all method. We can now iterate over all the quote elements and put them into a Python dictionary. Oh, oh. Why did I write an O instead of an I? I was like docked. I was like, where did docked come from? My dumbass. That's where it came. Until now, it has an extract data in particular. Save the whole HTML local file. Integrate in it the extraction logic. The spider crappy generates many dictionaries containing extracted from the page. To do that, we use the yield Python key. I guess I should back at least while I'm doing this. I'm curious why we used equal in shell, but then in here we're using. Oh, because we're setting up the dictionary. That's why. Okay. Never mind. Understood. Oh wait, right. All right. Now we flip back to the back to where we were. And then we'll see if the change what it did. I didn't pull the tags properly, which means I didn't write it properly. Why? Did I get the text? Did I get all of the text? Yeah, it seems like it got this all the text. Day without sunshine is like, yeah, it didn't get the tags. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's because I wrote something. Oh, it's supposed to be div, not dig. Div tags. There we go. State life misattributed. Simplest way to store the scraped data is by using feed exports. Serialize in JSON. Not to be confused with Jadon my soul. It's JSON. Anytime JSON file makes the file contents invalid. Anytime file, consider using a different serialization format such as. Alright, so uppercase overrides lowercase appends, but if you append, you need Just on L. Lines format is the same problem. Also, as each record is a separate line, you can process big files without having to fit everything. Yeah. Help do that. Small projects like this tutorial be enough. However, you want to perform more complex things with scraped items. Write an item pipeline. Placeholder file. Item pipelines. So you don't need to implement a pipeline for this. Instead of just scraping stuff from the first 2 pages, quotes from all the pages. So you know how to extract data from pages. It's like, oh, like. First thing to do is to extract the you want to follow. You can see that there's a link to the next page of the. I forgot the dot. Why is it up? Because I keep, for some weird reason, I keep eating the E off of response. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I could understand if I was hitting R, like if there was an extra R instead, because it would mean I'm at least trying to hit the E and I'm like missing it and hitting the R, but I'm not even hitting the last E. That's the anchor element, but we want the attribute for that. Requires a CSS extension that lets you select the attribute content. Using selecting attribute. Valentine's Rabbit got rated a 10. I was expecting like 9.8 or higher, but 10's kind of nutty. I'm not too surprised though, especially after watching the Side Smasher video. Like, I think in a different element, she'd definitely be like a 9.7, maybe a 9.8 at the highest. But like in Earth, there's so many ways to overcome her weaknesses for higher content that Like it makes sense that she's a 10 because her kit's like really strong. And that's really strong. Like imagine if like we had like a Magna, you know, supplemental skill damage weapon in there. Like disgusting. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it's a 10 in Earth because like Earth is slowly becoming the new Dark. It's a lot of like really bursty characters that just can kill things pretty quickly and just dish out a bunch of damage. And that has like survivability options along the way. Kind of interesting to see. Lobelia was 9.6. That 0.6 was definitely because it's Lobelia Valentine skin. Rust. Yeah, I don't know. After seeing his like, well, to be fair, I never liked like regular Lobelia's kit either. But like, after seeing the his Valentine version in action, I was slightly underwhelming, to say the least. Like Lobelia was definitely more of a for the Lobelia fans kind of character, more than anything else, if we're honest. Because at the very least, for the current like high end content, he brings nothing. Like he just actually brings nothing really that you can't just easily get from somewhere else in Dark. So that's also like the issue, right? Because like amusingly enough, he's a 9.6 in Dark, but he might have been a little higher if he was in a different element. Cosmo Solo with Bryosaur, Yukata, Antheria, Evangeline. Oh, so didn't use his Street King shenanigans. Bryosaur, I have to look at that one. I'm not overly surprised though, because that what helps it keep it in the red. That which is where you want, because the triggers in red are easier to deal with, if I'm mistaken. Because of the extra skill damage from everybody casting after he gets his 3 off. I'm assuming he's main handing Opus? Does Yukata and Theria give Cress? I don't know what her kit does. I've never looked it up. I just know she exists. That sometimes people use her. Main hand Opus? Yeah, I figured. Because you need extra Crest generation for Lobelia. Mm-hmm. Your spider modified person. Oh, I guess this is where learning how to set up recursive functions works. extracting the data, the parse method. Link to the next page. Those absolute URL using void method. And some links can be relative. You know, I wonder if when they made Evangeline, if they knew how potent she was gonna be. Because honestly, sometimes I feel like Granblue just releases something and they just don't realize how potent it's gonna be. Like in all honesty. And then there's other cases where you're just like, you know, they release a character that seems kind of underwhelming, and then a couple months later they release another character that kind of just makes them a lot less underwhelming. Looking at you, Earth Olivia, Uriel, which it's not the first time they've done stuff like that. I remember when Yukata Silva came out, she was used a lot in conjunction with Willness, just because it enabled him to just spam his Ogi like really easily. Even though like I still, bro, it still cracks me up when I think about Willness, because it reminded me of like when he posted that he's in the next batch of characters for Grand Blue Versus. Probably, honestly, probably one of the only characters that would convince me to actually get into that game. It's like Willness. Well, Willness or also Frau would probably Sturm too. When like if they added like all of those characters, I'd probably end up getting Grand Blue Versus in the character packs at some point. But yeah, it's I remember when Wellness first came out, everybody was just shitting on him. And like I was a believer. I was like, that's my dog. Wellness is too cool. He's not garbage. And so I just used him in everything. And it was really funny because I'd like read people and they'd be like, oh, he's so bad. He deals like no damage. I'm like, I don't know, he's dealing no damage for you because he sped up all of my clears. And then I think it took like about a month and people were just like, no, he's kind of broken. And then especially with like Percy, I was like, no, he's kind of broken. Parse method looks for the link to the next page URL. Builds a full absolute URL using URL join and yields a new request to the data. Keep crawling through all the pages. Preppy's mechanism, calling link, request and a callback method. Preppy will schedule that request. Register a callback method to be executed. That request finished. Using this, callers follow track different data depending on visiting. For example, it creates a sort of loop following all the links to the next page until it doesn't find crawling blog forums sites. That was a lot of quotes. On one of your other discords that hated that Elsa got a spot, but utterly praised 2B who literally just stole a spot from it. Why would you hate that Elsa got a spot? Like, unless you just don't like the character, I guess, which, fair. But I mean, yeah, like, 2B took a spot. You could argue that, what is it, MC's mom took a spot. But her design is actually kind of cool, so we'll give it a pass. I don't know, I just find it so weird for Ilsa of all of them to be the one where they're just like, how dare? How dare? Recover request objects you can use. Response dot follow. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is with my brain. It doesn't want to put the final E on response. Response follow supports relative URLs directly. Offer URL. Note that response follow also returns request instance. You'll have to yield this request. You can also pass a selector response follow instead of MC's mom is a Grand Blue character, you know, she's only relevant in verses. True. But I mean, I could say, but I just mean the same. It's like, you know, it fits in the same argument that it's not just like 2B, because, like, realistically speaking, and like for a fighting game that's based off of a gacha game, it's like, why are you even making, like, even if they're relevant to the universe in the game, like, it's, well, I guess it's part of it, it's part of the thing that annoys me with side games, is they'll have characters that are in the story that you've dealt with for a long time. And like sometimes they're not like reoccurring things and stuff like that. Like, you know, you have like Ryan and you have Walder and you have all those sorts of like characters, right? That it's just like, instead of giving them SSR versions, they're just making random characters and then being like, here, there's an SSR. And in some of them, they're characters that you could literally just give that kit to one of those old ones and they fit the personality. And it's just like, it's just a thing side games does. It's like, at some point they just start churning out like new characters for no real reason aside for the fact to churn out new characters, and they just forget that they have like these older characters that people like. So I'm not like overly surprised. I just mean it's in the same case of, it's just like, it feels weird, like you're saying, it feels weird to get annoyed about a character that's in the game versus characters that like aren't in the game that are just getting added into it. Because like realistically, right, like if we look at Relink, for instance, I would have argued that Relink would have had more legs to stand on for introducing like new characters that are related to the universe but not the gacha game, because it has its own story, right? Because like Grand Blue Versus, like, I mean, it has the generic, hey, there's a fighting game story, but it's not like kind of from what I've heard. But like, you know, in Relink, the only playable character that's not from the Grand Blue series is Id, who gets introduced in the game, right? But there was definitely plenty of characters in the game that they could have just made playable characters instead of making Grand Blue characters playable, that would have made sense, at least to me, because it's like, well, they're in the story. Like, they're intrinsically part of the story that we're navigating through. Not to mention, we've quasi-recruited, like, all of, like, the ones worth recruiting, so. Like, it's just, it feels weird for to do it, but on the same point, it's also a fighting game, so it's just normal for, like, at least the 2B one, it's normal to collab, right? Like, fighting games honestly live and die by their collabs after a certain period of life cycle. Well, yeah, I don't know. I agree with you though. It's weird to get. I will say that it'd be nice if we could get that, like a near collab in Grand Blue Fantasy. Because if I can't at least have a 2B costume for MC, I wish I could at least have like A2 in my game, in my teams. Actually, I take that back. Don't give it to me. Don't do it. Never mind. Side games, I was lying. I do not want a near collab because they're gonna put one of the they're gonna put the characters I want on the collab banner, and I'm gonna get like incredibly unlucky. But like the entire reason I got lucky with Neji's collab was because I didn't care for any of the characters, like at all. Well, as soon as there's a character, I'm just like, yeah, I want that. I'm not gonna get it, and I am sure as fuck not sparking or using a pick ticket on that banner. So it'd just be another character I'd cry when it like goes away. And I'd probably cry for A2 more than I did for Xion. It was just, nope, never mind. Side games, I was kidding. A elements, there's also. I'm just still curious why, like, what did they expand on that? Did they just like give a reason why, or is it just like it's just they don't like the character? To be fair, I'm surprised that it was like, well, I guess like, I mean, to be honest, it also kind of makes sense because she also has like her Yukata skin they could just put in the game later, which would look really good. She has the Yukata skin and a summer skin. They could easily put in there that people put money. Mm. Yeah, also. Yeah, I think my big thing now is it's just like I really wish they would pull those characters. At the very least, I feel like they should toss NC's mom and like id into Granblue. I just YOLO toss them in there. I don't like give them the fantasy tag or whatever. I don't care. Just tired of seeing these characters that are attached to our universe and they're like outside of the game and they're just not getting added when they like people would definitely like. I'd be down. I'd want both of them honestly. Well, I mean, realistically, I want the two like commander dudes from Relink, but it has a higher chance of getting added than those two. All the links of the authors are soft. First callback as we saw. Path and callbacks to follow all code shorter. Parse author callback defines help. And yields the Python dictionary with author data. This is a quote from the author page multiple times by default filters. Duplicated requests. URLs already visited. Avoiding the problem of hitting servers too much because of programming mistake. Dupe filter class setting. Hopefully mechanism of following links and crap. You sure don't. Get another example. Spider that leverages the following links. Crawl spider. Class for a generic spider that implements a small rules engine that you can create your crawlers on top of. Also, a common pattern is to build an item with data with more than one page. Provide command line arguments to better by optional. The arguments are passed to the spider's initial become the spider's attribute by default. Example of value provide tag argument. A self tag. Use this to spider attribute or spider fetch only quotes with a specific tag, building the URL based on the argument. Oh wait, I didn't give it. Hmm. Does it need everything for it? Oh, spider, scrappy dots. I know that got changed. The only thing that got changed was like the URL. Oh, because I added the page. Okay. For this. Right, so that was probably what was causing the error. URL equals slash tag request URL some first parse yes build yes author next page I'll follow it. Okay. Still no? Oh no, there we go. That was actually fun. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it may be necessary from time to time to give a stupid or misinformed beholder a black eye. That is a quote. That do be a quote. Put it on a shirt. Alright, that's too long to be put on a shirt, but that's pretty fun. Some people never go crazy. What truly horrible lives they must live. Alright. Glad we were able to get it to I was able to do select all backspace. Oh, do you have to like no. I was able to do like select multiple and then delete it earlier, but I don't remember how I did it. I can store items. Well, where does it like store it to? Oh, here it is. I'll do okay, so that should have well, even though I kind of wanted to rewrite the other file. Oh, we're on break time. I forgot to do my starting timer. I didn't have the timer to go off. Oh, I will say this like scrappy thing is so far more makes more sense to me than the Django thing, but that was also because the Django thing I spent like half the time trying to figure out how to set up a terminal inside of the spider to use that instead, and then I was trying to like use VS Code, but I haven't used VS Code in like over a year, so I forgot that that takes a bunch of like pre-setup, so that way it's like pulling from files where it's supposed to be. So it's kind of a bit of a time waste there. But I've just been using the shell that comes with Anaconda, so because it lets me be lazy and not have to actually type CMD every time I accidentally close it. But I don't know how I feel about like the web scraping thing, honestly. Like it's kind of interesting, but I don't know if I give a shit about it. Like if that makes sense, right? Yeah, they think. Oh, right. I forgot about pandas. I wanted to learn pandas. Because like a big thing when you're trying to learn stuff, especially something like coding that's so open and ended and broad in what you can do, it's like I feel like you have to kind of just figure out what you're interested in and work with that. Because like learning the web scraping thing, I didn't actually really know what it was. Like I had a kind of like a decent idea of it, but I've never actually like looked into what it was. So learning like what it does and the spider calls and stuff like that was pretty interesting. And I mean, to be fair, if like there was this, I don't know, if there's like a clear cut spot, like this is what I wish. I wish there was just a spot I could go to. And people should be like, hey, I need this made. I'd be like, I got. Like I was looking at like what is it, Fiverr, like earlier today to try to figure out how that works, and apparently it's like I thought it was a case of you could both be like, hey, I can do this for you, and then there'd be people being like, hey, I need this done. But it seems to just be a case of you just put up what you can do, and people will decide to, hit you up or not. Which I mean is nice and all, but I was kind of hoping for a spot that I could just be like, huh, ooh, like I could just peruse. People be like, hey, I need like this kind of functions made, or make a class object for this and stuff like that, and could probably do it. Even though I guess nowadays with all the AI shit, you can just do that shit through AI, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. Oh, heck. I didn't realize. I decided to go over and look at the ratings, and I saw they had the tie-in to the collab uh thing for the categories on for the comedy gaming and the other one, like the tier list, right? And it cracks me up the difference in ratings between game with and comedy game. Like I'm curious like what their independent
Pa, ha pa ba, Hapapatakata. Hapapatadapa. Hatapatakataka. Hatada.
Truly wise words to live by. Truly wise words to live by. What's up, Jadester? Hopefully the wisdom imparted is enough to carry you through the day. But like for instance, Luffy in Kami Gaming, they have it at 9. But Game With still has Luffy in like 9.6. Which, I mean, to be fair, I don't understand in what world Luffy is like a 9. Like, to this day, he's still disgustingly good. I guess, like, maybe due to limited access, maybe knocks him down a bunch because of how long it's been. But I didn't realize that, like, how sparse like, how varied the ratings were. Because, like, for instance, they have Jack at this, like, more or less the same, the same rating on both. Like, Jack is 9.5 on one, 9.6 on the other one. But, what is it? Game With has Setsuna at 9.4 and Neji at like 9.3, while Kami has Setsuna at 9 and Neji at like 8.5. And they haven't even put up one for Evangeline yet, but Game With has Evangeline at like 9.7. But I think she's more on par with Luffy. But I guess that's also due to the fact that she's competitive in an element like Dark. She'd probably actually be like a 9.7 and 9.8 and like all the other elements too. What is UB Thievery? Redeem and find out. I don't know, maybe you might be surprised. SMH. Jadester. You know? That's the point of the titles. It's to get people to want to like redeem them, to be like, what this?
Hoppity, you is my property.
No, get your fucking own. Goodness gracious. Be thieves in my chat, dog. Where's my shotgun? SMH. SMH. Well, how you been, Jadester? How was your weekend? Yep, por el agua. Yeah, you get the floating one. I'm too lazy to give you another one. You get the magical floating chunk. Yeah, I find it so interesting that their ratings are so wildly varied, at least for the collab characters. Okay, actually, you know what? I don't know about this. They gave Cinema Roll and Pumperin on Game With a 9.5. There is no way. How is that a 9.5 character? Oh, I've never seen someone use that character seriously in a setup. And they have it at 9.5. Oh, what? Okay, we can. So good, so much needed. That's 4 day because last week was rough at work. Oh, 4 day weekend. Nice, nice. Was it just a lot of stuff going on, or just for the last week, or just people acting up? Jason had to throw hands. both. Friday night it got pretty turnt. Life lesson: not buying another ball. You're still so turnt you can't finish putting in the emote. It's okay, I understand. It's okay. That, like, you just need to learn how to drink and okay. AKA you figure out your full tolerance, you chop that in half, and then you pour that in a cup, and that's what you drink when you feel the need to drink, and then you don't drink anymore. Being drunk made you sadder. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta learn how to drink responsibly. When you're trying to like drink to cope, to take the edge off, you don't get drunk because getting drunk just amplifies your emotions. It doesn't actually like cover your emotions. But getting buzzed tends to help your emotions. So you figure about like what your tolerance is before hitting drunk. You cut that about in half to a third, and then you put that in a cup with whatever else you want to drink, and then you sip on that for a while. And you're chilling. Trust. It's been my coping mechanisms for like 10 years. I kind of figured out how to make it work. I don't know that's something to be bragging about, but thumbs up, smiley face. Do they think it's a discipline? No, if alcoholics don't have that discipline, that's not being alcoholic. That's being, well, mature. No, alcoholics don't have self-control. That's what makes them alcoholics. And that's not even taking to the fact the few that actually have a genetic like disposition for it. There's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol. Like, this is what people don't understand. There's nothing wrong with like benign vices. It's you have to control the vice. Go down there. Well, that's, I mean, you can still manage it. For instance, I have a history of alcoholism in my family. Mine's pretty bad too, because it leads to alcohol related Alzheimer's and dementia. Hasn't stopped me from drinking. Hee smiley face. Just taught me to develop self-control so that it won't get out of hand. I don't know. I'm someone who firmly believes that if you enjoy drinking alcohol and it's like, if it's like your reflex, you should just learn how to control it. Like all things. Especially if you have enough like mental capacity to be like, I don't want to go that far down, but you still have like the urge. Usually, if you just control it. Cause I used to let it go out of control pretty bad. I won't lie. There's like 8 months where if you had asked me what I'd been doing on the weekends for those past 8 months, I couldn't really tell you aside from drinking because I'd just get blacked out drunk every weekend. You spend on alcohol, spend on yes. Let me go from alcohol to gambling. Dates there. We need to talk about your vices. It's time for an intervention. Let's go gambling. Women are not a vice, bro. That is the most like the Lulu copium sentence I've read in a while. Yeah, you're just straight denial. Straight denial. What gotcha games are you even playing on now? They have Raph at 10. That I didn't expect. This is the easiest one and most friendly with your time. Waiting on Star Rail to release for the exposition. Girls Frontline 2, you have to on Rocket League, Helldivers, and Stellar Blade mainly. Oh, I don't know how y'all do so much for the gotcha games. To me, it's like Granblue, and then I do like a side of Star Rail, and I have like been neglecting Zenless for a while now, mostly because none of the characters that are coming out in the next like I don't care for any of either of the characters from this patch, and I don't care for either of the characters from the next patch, and we don't know what's coming after that, so there's potentially a third like major patch that I might not care for the gacha, so I just haven't like I barely log on to do the events. Actually, speaking of events, I think there's one that ends like tomorrow, today or tomorrow, that I didn't do over the weekend. Oops. Probably see if I have time to do that in between stream. Or we'll do it like tonight and then I'll hop on Star Rail after. I need Cosmos. Anyway, break time's over. Also, Jadester, pay the song request tax. Hand it over. we have to... Oh. And I just doesn't the probably just rendered it. Let's go! I think it's the last dagger I needed to set up the 4 dagger grid. What are you getting taxed for? 1, for your UB thievery, how dare. And 2, because I did an art stream secretly over the weekend. And, you know, you missed that, so you have to pay the tax for that. Hand over. Songo request, though. Send it over. Use the redeem. Submit a song for judging on whether it can fit the community playlist that is slowly developing. Without representation, you're right there. You're being represented. I see a name that says Jade. Therefore, your representation exists. Therefore, you are now being taxated. Hand it over. I think you know about Nike, whatever the fuck it's called. That the MC actually has. Of course, that'd be the only thing you know about the game's lyric. Why wouldn't you know anything else about the game but that? There. Lord forbid you know anything about the combat mechanics or anything. No, it's just. Yeah, it's like the intimacy levels too damn high. And, canonically married to one, and things get freaky during the fucking my baseball bat, dude. Also, I can't believe you make me have to manually search for it. Not wrong to be. Alright, you're this Delulu. To knock some sense into Jade. Let's see. They calculate statistics. Column 8 correlated column distribution of data by the like removing missing filtering columns by from matplotlib. Bars, line histograms, bubbles, and store the cleaned transformed data back into file or data. And this is the best avenue which to do. 1% of all questions overflow. Even then, this is like, I mean, it's probably even more now. Just info you stumbled across and things like YouTube comments or Twitter. What kind of YouTube comments, you know, YouTube videos and Twitter feeds are you getting into today? I feel like you're just digging that hole deeper, honestly. I don't think you're helping yourself. Making you happy. You're also making, like, I don't know how many other users for that game happy. You know, just saying. Just saying, Jadester. Not to be the bearer of bad news or anything. Yeah, I'm actually maximum breakdown. I don't fucking know. I don't play the game. Do they actually? Do they even keep stats for that? Because like, for instance, Granblue on their big like anniversary streams and stuff will literally show the statistics for at least the grindable characters who've been like full limit breaked and awakened and stuff like that. Red shit thrust in your face from the For You page on Twitter before. No, because I don't usually go to the. I don't really do the For You page at all. I just check my following. Well, actually, I just check my like the what is it? I have the people marked where it's just like tell me when they post something, and then I'll check what they have, and then I get off Twitter. I spend a whole lot of time on Twitter, and my YouTube definitely doesn't like shove that kind of stuff in my face. It's mostly just Warhammer 40k videos. What's up, Slinkster? How's work? You vibing? On top of the numpy package, meaning a lot of the structure of replicator and pen, and often used to feed statistical and functions from the machine learning algorithms and offers a good environment. Text editor. No work today? Oh, nice. Got it off. Nice. I don't know what the stat is, but I did and I stopped. When she was niche, then reveled when she became meta for a while. Round day one suck. Fucking Jade's just there with his headband, glow sticks, and holding his life-sized body pillow. Like, this is day one. Y'all don't know. Just not waiting for your oil change to be completed. You getting food, or you just snacking on something? Service can't sustain a live stream. Sounds about right. A lucky rip. Thanks for stopping by, Slickster. Don't know how heavy. You're right. I don't. Honestly, I was happy life. But I mean, everybody has those characters in their gotcha games. Doing one character in each gacha you play that you really like. List them off. Roll call. Let's go. Easy performance of working with multi-dimensional arrays. Mathematical operations on them. Up to 50 times faster than iterating over Python. Efficiency gains are primarily due to non-array elements and ordered single location within modern CPUs. Particularly apparent. Standard within. Offers an indexing syntax for easily accessing portions of data within array. Contains built-in functions that improve quality of life when working linear algebra, array transform, matrix math. Requires fewer codes for most mathematical operations in Python. Plain document. Further information on documentation, more detailed instruction, manually updated with evolved best practice. Good candidate for the first library to explore after gaining basic next logical choices, growing your data science and sci-fi and pandas, short learn Python, then NumPy, then sci-fi or pandas. So I guess we'll be in NumPy for a while. Provides a foundation on which other data science packages are built, including sci-fi, scikit-learn, pandas. Provides many of libraries for scientific computation, extends NumPy, including integration, interpolation, signal processing, linear algebra functions, descriptive and inferential statistics, numerical optimizations, and more. Scikit-learn extends machine learning algorithms, and pandas extends writing function for exploratory data analysis, statistics, and data visualization. We thought of as Python's equivalent to Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, working with an tabular. Oh. I think I have NumPy. Yeah. Star Rail is Tingyun Fugue. Sakura was Jinshi. Zenless is still to be determined, but leaning towards Zuyan. Goes frontline 2, gotta give it to Yang Yu, but she's not out yet. Okay, okay. Give you a solid, like, D+. D plus because I don't know about Nike. I don't know about Girls Frontline 2. Your Star Rail choice was acceptable. Your Wuwa choice was questionable. And then your Zenless one is. I don't know. Have you seen any of like the newer ones? None of them caught your attention? Look, I'm just saying, you know, Star Rail should have been Faye Show. Wuwa should have been Zani. I'm just saying. Areas are likely scientific computing software, MATLAB, Python. NumPy can be considered as a fully fledged alternative. The MATLAB's core functionality is quite an attractive alternative for following reasons. Open source, option expecting the source code yourself. Vast and ever-growing possibilities open to Python users, and Python NumPy are free. Then I was gonna say Evelyn caught your eye, but because she reminds you of Lucy, you get downside. Lucy. Oh. 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 Beisha ended up pulling for her. Is on your still loses to Tingian for you. Got your spectral girly already. Taking my head. Taking my head. Taking my head. Oh, Edge Runners. Wait, how does she remind you of Lucy? Oh, great. Conversions and manipulation. Question. This in your taste, but you like the girls who are a bit more gentle. Fake Shot's gentle. What are you talking about? Fake Shot and Zani are the most gentle. What are you talking about? Blue and rose eyes. Light with a wired base. How to put the person I care about online due to circumstances. Our badass is hot. Fair enough. I was just curious because to this day I still haven't watched Edge Runner, so I was just like, oh, I didn't know what the correlation. Yeah, I don't know for me, the like fire weapon thing is like I think like it's cool, but like I don't think it's not like a weapon I prefer, right? If that makes sense. Also, Evelyn lost points for. I was debating on pulling for Evelyn, and then what is it? Rook got her, and she takes her jacket off on the when she uses the burst thing, and then I was like, the jacket's part of the whole ensemble. What are you doing? So therefore, I didn't care anymore. With Ampere, an Ampere, data structure, central object. One-dimensional array can be thought of as a vector, two-dimensional array is a matrix, and three-dimensional array. But the thigh jiggle, dog. The only thing that I'll give Evelyn is that they did the right choice with giving her like long pants, which is what they should have given Yanagi. But no, we gotta have like 3 short skirt characters in a row, basically. And then the worst part is the art for like the section 6 peeps after. One of them had Yanagi in like a suit. That shit looked so good. Like, that should have just been her. I should have been hard. Meanwhile, Woowa understands. I can put in Zani like dress. Oh, her design is so good. 10 out of 10 to approve. My 50 plus pulls are ready. Plus, if I need thigh jiggles, just look at my own. Well, yeah, no, they still got some jiggle on them. More muscle than jiggle now. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, they still jiggle pretty good enough. Very consistent integers, floating point numbers, or strings within an array. The data type must be consistent. It means all must be integers. Mixed data types, consider using NumPy's record array format or pandas data frames instead. Restrict our focus to conventional NumPy arrays consisting of a single data type. Also, we don't need this more for now, so swap back that over to my NumPy arrays in a number of ways. I want to approach it. NP.array. Oh, you have more potential. Yeah, I think it's just because like I'm pretty sure it was one of like the super early designs they did, and they definitely like got a little lazy with it in my opinion. And it's like it doubles down as like mildly annoying because when you see her like intro trailer they did, right? She has like the full combat suit that she's wearing, and you're just sitting there like, brother, what is this? Like, why? SMH. She's like the only person in the unit that doesn't look as like very battle ready comparatively for designs, outfits when they're literally like a military division. So a little underwhelming. Like the top half is perfectly fine, but like the bottom half is like most of what annoys me. Short skirt for no reason in a field that wouldn't have it, and then it has like the weird leg shape where it's just like the bottom half just gets way too skinny, like comically skinny. Your data in a NumPy array. Vast suite of computing possibilities becomes available. Our circle is has numerous functions for generating commonly used arrays without having to enter the manually. A few of those are shown below. More logistic person, have her saving grace, I guess, if they're adding skin. You potentially get a really nice outfit for her that suits her more than the office lady look. I mean, potentially. I just don't know if they would. I feel like they would add like. It's just I don't know because like her like in game right like Ellen's been portrayed in the student costume already like that already existed like in game Well, Yanagi's so far has only had like the one. I mean, she's actually not a logistic person. Is the part that's like annoying. She's like the vice chief of the thing, and she goes in the field all the time. Like that's why it gets more annoying when you realize it's just that she's like the backbone that keeps everything functioning, because all the other three are just menaces. But like she duels, she what is it? She trains with Miyabi all the time. Because in the event where you play, where it's like Yanagi focused, because it's like her character story, like she's good enough to make Miyabi like tweak her wrist from training. Because Miyabi mentions it when she's fighting the Miyabi clone. Spoilers, by the way, I guess. But yeah, like she's not just logistics. It's just they got lazy with the design, in my opinion. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like the costumes would be nice, but I'm never gonna own it because it's gonna cost money. I'll just have to sit there and sob. Action. Create is for creating vectors easily. Here, create a vector with a value spanning 1 up to, but not including 5. Okay, so like this visual Python indexing. Arrange stuff. Many programming tasks. It can be useful to initialize a variable, then write a value to it later in the code if that variable happens to be a NumPy array. Common approach would be to create it. You can do this using np.0. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you give it the amount of times you want to do it and the depth of the matrix, or I guess the height of the matrix. Hmm. Oh, because it's a tuple. So we still needed the third one. But it takes a tuple. Let's just see. Full creates an array repeating a fixed value, defaults to 0. Here we create a 2x3 array with the number 7 in each element. By 3, 7. Making arrays in this way is helpful for appending columns or rows in an existing array, which will become. All arrays have shape accessible. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna learn how to do NumPy and then pandas, and then I'll learn how to do Django, and then after we learn how to do Django, we'll do. I do plan on using the API, or not the API thing, the like redoing the Granblue on that, and then probably dabble into the API stuff after that. But usually, when I'm working with that, I'm probably gonna try to see if I can find like work or something to, like, if what I've learned is enough to like help me find work or something. At least like find like a side gig or some shit like that. How I'm just saying this. How are we in 2024 and we don't have something like, adventure board style places where you can just like be like, oh, someone needs me to slay the cyber wolves on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, where's my online adventures guild set up for real life shit, dude? Come on now. How is that not a thing? Fishing and Zenless calls you. Oh right. Is it the fish? Oh, I think is it fishing? No, I think it's the other one. I forget. There's an event in Zenless that's like ending soon. If it hasn't already ended, that I need to like do today. Colors have a shape accessible. Dot shape. With the shape of a vector matrix. Oh, so you'll still need to know what like. Oh, I guess not. They're just. Why did I put a period? It's supposed to be a. I sorry. I want to put a comma and I'll put a period, and I want to put a period and then I'll put a comma instead. Okay. Shape of the vector is one-dimensional. The first number in its shape is a number of the elements or rows. The matrix dot shape tells us we have 3 rows and 2 columns. The tensor is slightly different. The first number is how many matrices slash slices we have. The second gives the number of rows. The third gives the number of columns. And notice that the syntax for the rows and columns is strikingly similar to the equivalent. We continue to explore NumPy arrays. You might know. If we print tensor, we can of matrices. You can reshape an array into any compatible dimensions using reshape. Hmm. Oh, it's a range. Oh, huh. I guess you're making it like a class object, calling the own internal. Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, so this is a range, not a range. Yeah. I read it as like a range, like if you're arranging items, right? Not like a range, as in a range of numbers. Try to infer one-dimensional. Infer one of the dimensions if you use -1. You will still need to have precisely the correct number of digits for the inference to work. Hmm. Kind of curious how this works. Reading data from a file into an array. Usually datasets are too large to define manually, and so the most common use case is to import data from a data file into a NumPy array. As an example, let's take some publicly available data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. The dataset we'll explore contains information on electricity generation and the range of sources. Download the file. Put that. Oh, that shouldn't be inside projects. As is rolling a little bit. Whatever, I'll just like path it over, I guess. The data is a CSV. We'll use the CSV module to import data. It's worth noting that NumPy has functions to read other types of data files directly into arrays, such as npgen form text for text file. Just using the CSV file row by row, appending to a list, and then converting it to an array. Bro, my brain right now is like, I could probably almost hear it audibly frying itself. It kept like backspacing one too many times, and then instead of like, as it, like for instance, like instead of putting the letter I just backspaced in the next one I needed, it would just put the one that I was needing to add. So it'd be like import backspace 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 into impo, and then I'd just add the T, and I'd be like import. I'd be like shit, backspace that backspace again for some weird reason. So I'd be at like impo, and then I'd add like RTS. My brain is like so fried for no reason, honestly. Well, I did go sleep at like 4. That kind of counts, but I guess I'll just pull it into. Actually, no. Let me just. Go to Python. Open there. Oh, actually, wait. I was gonna like have it set off, but this is like for the different things. So let's see what it wants us to do because I feel like this is gonna be kind of nutty because that was a lot of info on it. Misana, hello, thank you for the red house stream. Hopefully you had fun. Hi hi. Sorry, I just sneeze. But hello. Welcome raiders. For those who may not know me, I am Marshmallow Bear. Bear VTuber. Not for clarification, I'm a bear named Marshmallow, not a marshmallow that's a bear. Distinct difference that people keep getting confused. Makes me sad. People keep trying to eat me, but that's not how this works. But yes, hello. I stream now predominantly like learning coding during the day and then gaming with gacha gaming at night. But I hope 14 was fun. You beat up any primals? Did you get any loot? Yeah, I think, what was it? Last time it was, you were doing something? Transferring? I could pick up? I don't know, I haven't played 14 in a while, so I don't know what all the different things you can do now are. Reveal that array is made up of strings. Joining stream? It is, I'm slowly melting my brain. I had a bit of a, like it's not bad, because I've been learning Python now for about 3 months. And it's like, I'm hitting the point where it's like, I have a decent grasp of like the core basics of how Python works for coding, but I now have to figure out like what I want to do with it. And like that part's mildly confusing because there's like parts I'm interested in and then having to figure out like what parts of that I can learn and do stuff to get work to get paid. So it's like it's a bit of a confusing time where I'm like trying to figure out where to go, but it's not bad. Stopping me from doing it is well, that nowhere has what you call it. There's no like concrete do this, like it's too expensive, right? So I have to slowly individually go with all the different things I can do and figure out like what's something I'm interested in pursuing. And that's kind of what's like stopping me a bit. So it's like go over here, try this out for a little bit, go over here, try this out for a little bit, go over here, try this out for a little bit, and see which one is something I wouldn't mind doing. So it's a bit of just a trial and error stage. Like I did a little tutorial about scraping through a website, so getting information from it. And now I'm trying to learn some of the more, I guess, like mathematical stuff for it to see like how that feels. Just to try to figure out. And then after this, I'm gonna try to learn how to use something for setting up the back end of a website. Oh yeah, it's just mostly just trial and error stuff. No, but thank you. I need it. Fighting. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun in general though. Coding's pretty interesting, at least with Python. Well, I tried C# last year at some point, and then I had to give up because brain wanted to explode from weather and stuff. Had a really killer migraine for like 2 months straight. But getting back into it's been really good. I finished a a small project on Friday finally, after having to rewrite it a couple times. But it's been pretty good. Wait, do I have to actually like print that? Will it tell me the data? No, it doesn't. It had to be printed. Ready to save our data we can use. What does WB do for? Oh, right in binary. I didn't use B at all for when I was doing the files that I was doing, so I forgot that it was for binary. For instance, you may want to plot one column of data or perform a manipulation of that column. NumPy uses the same index notation as math. Comma separate axes. Colons mean through, for example. 5 rows, rows go through 4 of X. Negative means from the end of the array. Save this in a notepad just to make it for easier access later. Oh, oops. Made it highlight a little too many things. It'd be easier for organizing the text. I want to read it. I don't have to worry about lining it all up perfectly. All the different stuff. Hit you like 3 times trying to put y at the end of that. Negative numbers means from the end of the array. That's translates. Blanks before or after colons means the rest of Python. So like 3:nothing means the rest of the rows in X after row 3. Similarly, nothing:3 means all rows up to row 3, and then colon with nothing on either side means all the rows of X. There are fewer indices than axes. The missing indices are considered complete slices, for example, in a 3-axis array. X00 means all data in the third row for the first row in the first column. That one's actually gonna be a bit of a I'm reading it and it makes sense, but I don't understand why they had to why they say it the way they do. When there are fewer indices than axes, the missing indices are considered complete slices. In a 3-axis array, 00 means all data in the third axis of first row and first column. I guess I'll just have to like hope there's like something down the line that we use to kind of make that make sense, because it being written out doesn't make sense. At least to me. Dots mean as many colons as needed to produce a complete indexing tuple. For example, x with 1, 2, ... is the same as x with 1, 2, comma, colon, comma, colon, comma, colon. In the following code, we'll explore some useful things. I'm kind of disappointed that they had us do this whole thing, and then they didn't have us do anything with it whatsoever. And it's just like, huh? Like, okay, I guess. Oh, wait, no, we're using. Oh, never mind. Now we're working with it. So let's say we're interested in the first 10 rows column, making calling syntax to index section. Description, setting that generate all sectors. The first row is the header of the column. Column 4 contains a description of energy sectors. Indexing example colons as all rows. Oh, I was like, wait, why is it still giving me a syntax error? Oh, there's the. Oh, there's a typo in this. They have 2 indexing. It goes indexing example 1, indexing example 1, indexing example 3. Forgot the 2. Subset of columns. You can use the same format for any dimension of an array. The general syntax is array start row colon row comma start colon or start column colon column. The following indexes all rows and the second column up to but not including the 4th column. explicitly specifying column number. I don't need for dinner. Oh, I guess I should try looking into data scrubbing too. Is that what it's called? Okay, which is we are learning the things we need to learn for that. So I guess that's kind of also wrapped into that. Write the outputs in uranium subsets using the following mask array. Another convenient way to index certain sections of NumPy array is using a mask array, also known as logical array, contains Boolean elements, true, false. Indexing of a given array is determined by the value of the mask. Find the NumPy array of true, false values, where the true values are the ones we want to keep. Only mask the subset array from the previous example. The result is retaining only the rows that correspond to elements that are true in the mask array. I'm assuming it's probably due to how things have developed, but there's like one little like tag of the input that that like it's not showing. Like there's a little tag at the very end that's not being shown on my output, but I'm assuming that's just because that's something that got phased out, because this tutorial is not like from last year or anything. You can see the mask array retained the rows corresponding to true and excluded the ones corresponding to false. It's worth noting that a similar approach is used in indexing data frames. Masking is a powerful tool that allows us to index elements used on logical expressions. We'll make a case study later in the program. Concatenating. NumPy also provides useful functions for concatenating. So we wanted to restrict our attention to new subarrays as far. Concatenate these arrays, we can use NPV stack. It denotes vertical or row-wise stacking of the subarrays. Here we stack the first 3 rows and the last 3 rows on top of each other. Horizontal counterpart of V stack is H stack. Combines subarrays column wise. For higher dimensional joins, the most common function is np.concatenate. The syntax for this is similar to the 2D versions, with the additional requirement of specifying the axes along with the concatenation, along which concatenation should be performed. Calling concatenate array start array and access equals 0 would generate identical output to using the V stack. Access equals 1 would generate identical output to using H stack. Interesting. So what would you do if you do it with like higher numbers? The opposite of concatenating, i.e. joining arrays, is splitting them. To split an array, numpy provides the following commands: H split, V split, D split, array split. Category moving elements. There provides several functions for adding or deleting data from an array. Resize returns a new array with a specified shape. The zeros as placeholders in all the new cells. Append adds values to the end of the array. Add values in the middle of an array. Insert and or delete returns a new array with the given data removed. Then unique finds only the unique values of an array. Sorting. There are several useful functions for sorting array elements. Some of the available sorting algorithms include quicksort, heap sort, merge sort, and time sort. For example, here's how you'd merge sort the columns of an array. I was thinking random, I guess like my turn for random trivia for the day. There's apparently a new Pokemon game, or not Pokemon, new Digimon game coming out. Ah, so it would like merge sort the column. I mean, all it looks like is just sorted each one in their own individual array list, like list sections of the array, and then just returned it. No copy versus shallow copy versus deep copy. Oh, I remember them talking about this in one of the a common source of confusion by beginners is knowing when a data is and isn't copied into a new object. Function calls an assignment. Copy is function calls. Notice the ID of B is the same as passed into. I think the MIT course talked about like no copy, shallow copy, and deep copy, but it was I think in the context of like passing information for functions and stuff. Which I mean, I guess like how it works here. Well, I mean, like passing information inside of the code itself. Time change or whatever it is. Yeah, I think something like that. I just randomly got like that's usually what like YouTube randomly throws in my face and stuff like that. Yeah, I own Cyber Sleuth 1 and 2. I wanted to do a playthrough of those. I have them on the Switch, but then I got like sidetracked because of all the other games that came out that I wanted to play. Because I think I almost beat Cyber Sleuth 1, but I wasn't a huge fan of how they handled the Digivolution system in that game. Like especially towards the end, because I wanted to get a specific Digivolution, and it was like you have to constantly like digivolve and de-evolve and digivolve and de-evolve to get stats to then be able to like digivolve it into a different path. And I was like, I think I was almost done with the game, and then it was like the fact that I couldn't get the one I wanted without having to spend a lot more time grinding just mindlessly made me not want to finish it. But maybe I don't know, maybe I'll restart and after like the move or something. That's something I could do. I could use the capture card. Well, I could see if the laptop would play nice with a capture card and stream that. Like waiting to set up the like my streaming area. Use shallow. Arrays that share some data. The view method creates an object data. Placing an array returns a view of that array. Oh, I just realized I could have done this. Oh my man, I could have done this on the project. I didn't know you could import that when you imported a module from a file, you could assign it to something else. Make it easier, right? Because like, so for instance, one of my main issues was like, crap, I need to name these files in a way that when I import them, it's not a pain in the ass to like keep rewriting the name. But then I could just be like, I could just name it whatever so I know what it is, and then just import the file as whatever. Oh, man, that would have been so nice to know. It's not like a huge issue on for like efficiency on like the code itself, but it would have been nice to not have to write ffc underscore functions dot whatever on everything. Would have saved me some keyboard clicks. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see, at least in the West. I don't know how in the East it is, but it's kind of interesting to see the resurgence of popularity for Digimon for a lot of the games. Because like they've kind of come out in like little stints where because it was just like there was like the Cyber Sleuth series for the West, and then there was like the Gotcha game that apparently is still going. Then there was Digimon Survive, something like that, which I still haven't gotten. I want to get. I think there was like another one, and then now there's like this one coming out, and it's just been I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me after because growing like I think when I was like in university, like high school to university, there was like a dry spell of Digimon stuff. for the most part. Because you had a good number of games on like the DS. Because I remember playing like the Digimon version of Mystery Dungeon. Actually, I think I own them. I think they're in a box over there somewhere. Because I found the box that I thought was my Game Boy Advance games is actually the box of all my games. If of B doesn't change, A equals A dot A colon. Use the copy method to make a copy of an array and all its data. Method creates a new array object identical to A. Like a 3 numpy that are especially handy in data science, broadcasting, vectorization, pseudo random number generation. For this method, we'll put our electricity favor for a straightforward example. Three plus 5, 0, 1, 2, 5, 6. Oh, so it's telling it that you want to use a range which goes in order, starting from 0 to, for the range of it. Because you're saying a range of 3, so it'll go up to and not include 3, so it goes 0, 1, 2. But then you're also telling it you want it to start from 5. So then the end result is 5, 6, 7. Then you can do NP1s, which are all like that. Like, it's saying you want the row to be 3 deep. You want 3 rows and 3 columns using 1s. But then you want each row to be arranged to be a range of 3. So again, it'll start from 1 because you're telling it to start from 1. And then it'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So it'll do like A equals NP dot range of 3 is 5. Yeah, so like what I was saying earlier, right? Is like you're a range of 3, so it'll go 0, 1, 2. But this is then telling you that you wanted to start from 5, so instead of 0, 1, 2, it goes 5, 6, 7. And then here you're saying you want to make a matrix of 1s using the tuple sizing. like size requirement of like 3 by 3, so you're making a 3 by 3 matrix of ones, but then you're telling it that you want it to be made of using the range of 3 starting from 1. So then it becomes 1, 2, 3. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Because that's like what the output is, right? Because this just makes basically a cube, or not a cube, a square, 3 by 3 square, which is just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And this one, range 3, reshape. Plus dot np dot a range of 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3, or 0, 1, 2. Oh, so it's setting up the columns, like the start of the columns first. Yeah, okay, no, I understand now. Because it's you're doing you're telling it to reshape. So the range usually by default goes horizontal, but you're reshaping it into 3 rows of 1. So it'll go 0, 1, 2 vertically. But then you're also telling it you want each row to be a range of 3 from that starting number. So then it goes 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Finally a new one in that set of games after 10 years. Ah, has it really been that long since Cyber Sleuth 2? Oh, it has to be, because I mean, when I bought the Digimon Cyber games, it was 1 and 2 dual pack. They usually don't do stuff like that until those games have been out for a while. And that was like a couple of years ago. Well, quote unquote couple, that was like I think 2 years ago. I don't remember when I got them. It's been a while though. Oh yeah, because that's kind of cat name. 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 1. It's actually a really cool little like interaction. Broadcasting is a process performed by NumPy as mechanical operations to work objects that don't necessarily have. Broadcasting is that's kind of interesting though, because it just means that even over there they didn't do anything with it. Because like for instance the Dragon Quest like the Joker series, right? The one that's like basically Dragon Quest but Pokemon style. Like in the East has like a bunch of games. I think there's like 10 or so games over there, if not more. But in the West, we've only gotten like 2, 3 of them. Like not very many. So in this context, it just means that that even over there they didn't do anything with it. Kind of makes me curious how popular Digimon is in Japan. I think array element with this array has an expected shape 2 Mm-hmm. Ray from a list that samples the arguments on numpy. Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. I see. It's because my usual thing of where I put a period instead of a comma. Rolling. Yeah, so it seems that when you do the plus, you're telling it that you want it to. Well, it depends on what it is. If it's just an integer, it'll tell it where it wants to start from. Because when we were doing the plus np dot range, right, it was taking the first number of what was already there because the range doesn't have like a starting number. You're just telling it what you want the range to be of, and it'll default to 0. But then if you do an integer, you're telling it where you want the like the actual sequence to start from. I'm pretty sure if we do like like if my theory is correct, this just starts at 6. Yeah. Like in this case, it just upticks everything by 1. Yeah. Keep in mind the linear algebra structure would be furious if you mentioned adding scalar to isn't a mathematical valid operation. However, what numpy in the background is valid. It's a second array with the for all. Creates a second array with a value 1 for all elements affected by transparent blocks in the numpy then adds the second array to the first one. Accomplishes broadcasting in a very computationally. Jesus Christ, that almost destroyed my brain. Computationally efficient way. I don't think I've ever seen the word computational. Well, not ever, but I think it's been a long time since the last time I saw the word computationally written out. And with how like half dead my brain is right now, like that just like fucking power bombed my brain for a second. One of the key advantages of using broadcasting in your code, broadcasting might also make your code simpler. Mm-hmm. 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 Should go at 2468. Yeah. Works the same way as addition. Use broadcasting in cases beyond just overcoming the dimensional mismatch between a scalar and an array. NumPy can also broadcast arrays to enable computations with other arrays. Let's say each row of a collection of 2 objects. Coordinates of the first object is located at x equals 2. the other object, the second row, is located at x equals 3, y equals 4. To find the coordinates of both objects if they both are translated by 3 units in the x direction and 1 unit in the y direction, all we need to do is add 3, 1 to array A. Hmm. 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 Simplistically, I can kind of understand what's going on, but I'm also like trying to figure out how it works on the back end, and my brain's just not having it. Created a second 2x2 matrix in the background with both rows 3, 1 form the operation. In other words, NumPy broadcasts the 1x2 array to an array appropriate to perform the operation with the 2x2 array. The operation is equivalent to the one depicted in the second array. The above figure. For even more examples of broadcasting, the best place documentation. Yeah, because like what it's doing is basically it almost seems that like what it'll do is it'll just kind of make a loop in and of itself. This is probably like a gross oversimplification of what it's doing. But for instance, it probably just does a loop. Like it takes this and it goes, okay. If it's like a single integer, it'll be like 4 value in array A. Oh. Ah. Yeah, so it's breaking it down to like the 2 arrays. Right, because it's a matrix. I gotta go deeper. Interesting. Okay, because that's what it's actually saying. But you see, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, like this is what I'm saying. It's a gross oversimplification, but what it's like doing is like this plus 1. I don't think that'll work. Oh, it does work. Yeah. So this is like what it's doing, basically. Right? It's like if it's an integer, it goes, okay, this plus 1 is what it's doing. But if it's not an integer, right, and it's like array onto array, it's like on the back end going, okay, how many do we have over here? How many are they trying to do over there? And then it'll match them up. So like for instance, this array has 2, right? It has like two rows to it. Well, this one only has like the 1. So then it goes, okay, well we have 2 rows here, but we only have 1 row here. So obviously this needs to be like, so they're inferring that what we want to do is we want to do both of these by this. And then so it just duplicates it as an array. And then it goes, all right, for the row in the array, we are going to add row 0 to this 0. Like row 1, 0. Like row A first row plus B first position and first row. Like basically, like I know in my head I know what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out in any feasible words that can actually explain it. Basically, it's going this plus this, and then this plus this, and then doing that for both. But it's doing it on the back end where you don't see it because we're using their function calls and stuff. Like, I get it. Because you could also argue is that it just does this. Like a very, very, very oversimplification is what it does is it just goes 1, 2, right? Like it just constructs the square, and then it like goes under and it goes all right 3 and 1, 3 and 1, and then it just like smushes them together, right? So 1 to 3, 4, 1 to 2, 3, 3 to 3, 6, 1, 4 to 1, 5, right? And it just gives it a smush like it's a s'mores, then turns it into a one whole thing. Operation. Another essential tool is vectorization. Bro, that sounds like something you'd hear in a video game. Vectorize his ass. It's like, well, he's a one, sir. There's just one person. Process of modifying code to utilize array operation methods. Array operations can be computed internally by NumPy using lower level language. Leads to many benefits. Vectorized code tends to execute much faster than the equivalent code that uses loops such as for loops and while. Usually a lot faster. Therefore, vectorization can be very important for machine learning, where we often work with large data sets. Vectorized code more compact, have fewer lines of code to write, and potentially speed up the code writing process, make code more readable, and reduce the risk of error. Consider a problem where we have two one-dimensional arrays and to multiply each element in A with a corresponding element. First, we will define some arbitrary values for A and B. I wonder why. Hmm. Because it just completely skips the process. It just makes the list that follows the range. Understandable. Multiply the elements using a simple Python, like a non-vectorized version. I don't think we have. Because they're using Jupiter. Not using. Yeah. Then we're on the final break stretch. This is Lorraine Bustin. Yeah, they gotta have to use like the date time thing. I want to see if this does anything. What statement is which lists comprehension achieves the same result as the loop shown? Follow 17. List equal and original. Or number in the original list. If number equals definitely. I will say I don't know why sometimes. So like my Celeste Magna 3 runs, like they are technically soloable, but sometimes they don't. Like I think I've had 2 failures so far out of all of them. And it's been and in the 2 failures both I had intensive care turned on Tico. To be honest, there's been times I've forgotten to turn Tico's like intensive care on. And it's soloed just fine by itself, even without the booster. So I don't know. Best practice. Oh. Soon though. That's another thing I forgot. Soon we should be getting anniversary stuff. I think I think there was a year where the anniversary event started like at the end of February, but I think this one will probably be towards the beginning of March. Like it should be. So soon I will find out if my hopes and dreams are for relink content will be crushed or not. What would that be? Oh, because it takes it from the from. Okay, so it just finds every single time. Oh, I don't know yet. I don't know. Yeah, I think I should go and what should we call it? I have to think about it. But I'm either gonna continue this for the rest of this week, or we're gonna go back and well, so far I haven't needed a reason to. But what I'll probably do is I'll finish the like going through the NumPy thing, and then we'll go back and I'll look at the course part for like generators, and I'm assuming decorators in the MOC. I know it has a generator one because I saw the like topic name be there, so I'll go look for that, and then what should we call it? Learn that, and then I'll just pick up from there. Probably go to pandas and all that stuff. I don't really need to save this one because I'm just gonna restart it when I come back tomorrow anyway. But yeah, I guess I know what I want to learn next then, which is nice. Which will be learn NumPy, then go learn generators, decorators, and then probably mess around with pandas, and then Django. And then somewhere along the way, probably try to see if I can uh do some, like, you know, I don't know, maybe find some sort of like side stuff that I can just randomly do to make a couple bucks here and there. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, these last couple of days have been kind of a little all over the place because of been trying to figure out where to like continue. Yeah, I'm gonna double check whatchamacallit. Zenless events, and then depending on what's like on it's probably gonna be like if the event hasn't finished, I'll probably do Zenless tonight and just like speed run the event. And then if that doesn't take too long, then we'll jump over to whatchamacallit. Jump over to Star Rail, but if that takes like, you know, 2 hours, we'll just call it. And then if the event's already over and there's not another one that's about to finish, then we're just gonna do Star Rail tonight to get back through the thing. I will say probably will take Wednesday off. But more than likely no stream on Wednesday. Like all at the very least during the day. Might stream at night. But I think I'm gonna take Wednesday to do some extra packing and stuff in the house. So I'll toss it up in the Discord if I decide to do it or not. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching though. I do appreciate it. I know these like coding ones, especially when I'm like today where it's like mostly reading and trying to figure out like what I'm doing is a little, I guess, bland. But part of the process when it comes to learning. I will try to do a couple more things that are a bit more like, you know, at least I'm like working on something. So it's like less reading. Probably more brain power stuff. Because there's a couple websites I've been looking at, but thank you everybody for watching. It was our day. Hope you have a good day. It was a day for you as well. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. I'll see you on the next one. Oh, bye bye.